القول قول الصوارم كي تسترد المظالم حتى الأراذيل.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. This is your brother Gabriel, Romaani. My dear Muslim Alpha, I am with you here on the mountains of Alanya and wanted to talk about Hijrah to this area. People ask me, they ask me a lot about Hijrah. What should I do? I feel like leaving the West. It's not so simple, guys, when it comes to Hijrah. So this video is exclusive for the Muslim Alpha Man Society. A review of Turkey. Beautiful Alanya here. Definitely a place where you could come and live, no doubt about it. But you have to be as realistic as possible when it comes to Hijrah. First and foremost, I would say, think about where you're gonna be and look at the rules and regulation when it comes to residency. That's number one. Because most people come, go, they have a very exciting idea about Hijrah, but then they hear residency rules and then it's over. They have to leave. How many people have suffered like this? So number one, check the regulations. Do you fit? Because you're not a citizen, you have to understand. Can you be a citizen? For example, in Turkey, if you invest about $300,000, 4, 5 even, it's even better. But even with 200,000-300,000, you could get a passport quite quickly. But check the information. So make sure residency is covered, okay? Whether through investment, whether through whatever it is, work. But keep in mind, if you don't get your permanent residence or your passport, you're not or might not be able to stay in these countries for more than a few years. So your hijrah gets cut short. Number two, keep in mind the realistic understanding of Islamic culture. Obviously you're doing hijrah for the sake of Allah, you want to have a better deen. But a lot of people go to these countries and they see, well, it's not so, the deen is not really that good sometimes. In Turkey, you're talking about like 50% split between kufr and iman. You go to Saudi, obviously, you see there's a lot of issues happening there right now with changes. You go to UAE, same thing, depends. A lot of issues, not that easy to stay there. Many people have left from these countries. So Malaysia, again, so difficult with regards to the residency. Not easy at all. So a lot of people have to leave from Malaysia recently and go to Turkey. And it seems like the world just keeps making it harder and harder for Muslims to gather in one place where they can have a community, business, and dawah and development. So, yeah, consider iman and kufr and the situation of the culture that you're in. Number three, consider work and income. What are you gonna do for work? How are you gonna make money? Do you have passive income? Do you have a business? What is it? Because if you don't make money, well, guess what? You're not gonna be able to stay too long there. And this is the reality. So be as realistic as possible. Money is important. All right? Don't just leave and think you're gonna find a job. If you get a job from back home and they pay for you to come there and there's a good package and all that, okay, it's good. It's a good having your foot in the door. But if you don't, then I would say wait till you find something. A lot of people get super excited, they just want to do hijrah. And then they get so disappointed, they start hating hijrah. They start hating the Muslim countries. They start saying stuff like, well, bro, the kuffar countries are better, and so on and so forth. No, don't do it, okay? That's number three. Number four, you want to look at living expenses, which is related to money, obviously, right? See what you get for what you're gonna pay. How about rent? How about food? How about schooling for children? Whether homeschooling programs, whether Islamic school, whatever you want to do. What about different programs for them? Right, that's very important. All right, number five, your wife. She's not gonna be happy, bro. She's not gonna have some sort of community, some connection to sisters, some durus to attend, to learn Islam, certain things. I'm not saying go out there and do whatever, no. You know that I don't preach that. But there has to be something that she's gonna have to do. Because if not, then you're gonna have to entertain all the time. And you don't wanna do that. You wanna be focused. You wanna do a lot of work. You wanna do all kinds of stuff. All right, so she needs to have some sort of community, sisters, presence. If not, she's gonna make your hijrah quite difficult. So think about your wife. Make sure that she's also happy, and this is also worth for her as well, and your children, of course. Number 6, you gotta think of healthcare. It's important because a lot of people, they get sick, things happen. Of course, Allah is the one who cures, but you have to have access to hospitals. If your wife gives birth, for example, some people have some huge difficulties. Okay, so number 6, I would say healthcare. Number 7, maybe it's not in priority, I mean, it should be one of the first ones, but I didn't put it like in order. But let's say number 7 is you. What kind of development do you have for yourself? Dawah, community, brotherhood, things you're gonna be doing there, training, MMA, projects, or you're just gonna be sitting in the house watching TV or be online. Okay, do you have places to go, things to do? Are you gonna be busy? Very important. Number 8, language. For example, here in Turkey, people don't want to speak English. Even if they know English, a lot of them, they do not want to speak English. In Malaysia, most people speak English. In UAE, most people speak English. In Saudi, some people speak English. So language is important. Think about, what do you want to do? You want to learn Arabic in Turkey? You could, maybe in Istanbul. There are many, many Arabic communities, mashallah. That's one advantage, maybe Istanbul, that you have a lot of Muslim Arabic communities and a lot of mashayikh. A lot of mashayikh you can study with. So, yeah, could be. Malaysia, yes, there are marakis for language. They do respect the Arabic language. It's quite popular. But in Turkey, in many places, there's no English, there's no Arabic. Some brothers, mashallah, have learned the Turkish language. That's great. Allahumma barik. Not everyone can do it though. So keep in mind language, very important. And what you want to do in terms of Arabic, in terms of what language you're going to learn, how fast you learn language. Because you need to communicate. And people don't take you seriously if you don't know how to communicate or they don't know how to communicate with you. Point number 9, keep in mind discrimination. Yeah, that's you heard it right, discrimination. There's a lot of racism in Muslim countries. You have to understand that. And this whole thing, I'm local, you're not, is there. So you have to be very clear on that. How much is going to affect you? How much is going to bother you? Racism is a big thing in the Ummah, you have to understand. Even if you're white, but you're not a certain nationality or ethnicity, it's going to cause you a problem. So yes, in Turkey, a lot of racism, a lot of discrimination. Even Malaysia, it's a bit hidden. It's kind of behind, but yes, it happens. Yes, it does for those who have lived there. Indonesia, same thing. Saudi and Khalij, I would say that people somehow, they like foreigners a bit more. That's one thing I did find, a lot more hospitality when it comes to people from different places. I think that's a pro about the Khalij that I really liked a lot. Okay, so that was, I think, point number 9. And then point number 10, always have a plan B. If you're serious about Hijrah and you think Hijrah, this is it, and I encourage people, and I believe it's part of our deen. It's not something that's optional if we can do it, but it's not that simple. 100% it's not that simple. You know that it's not that simple. You know that people just don't welcome you with open arms. They don't just say, Ahlan wa sahlan, welcome. It's difficult. So have a plan B. Because if you're on a Hijrah, you try to stay on Hijrah. Sometimes though, the reality is that you might one day have to go back to where you came from. I don't want to say home, but this is the reality. But don't stop. Make an intention, remember. The first and foremost thing when it comes to Hijrah, and the hadith that's linked to Hijrah, is intention. إنما الأعمال بالنيات وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى فمن كانت هجرته إلى الله ورسوله فهجرته إلى الله ورسوله. So make an intention. These are 10 points that you want to consider for Hijrah. Personally, if I were to choose from all these countries, I think money, deen, you're talking about the sum of all things, not the best thing. Money, deen, environment, community, you know, children, activities, decent system. I'll probably say Malaysia. Oh yeah, And of course, dawah. I would probably stay in Malaysia. The only thing with Malaysia, it's too far. It's not very central. The advantage of some place like the UAE or Turkey is that you're so central and you can do so much. Anyway, that's 10 things that you want to consider before making Hijrah. There's a lot more. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, what your experience has been. Barakallahu fikum here from Alanya, Turkey. Your brother Romaani. Assalamu alaikum. Wassalam alfa.